Shalom to the 12 tribes of Israel that have been scattered according to our holy manuscript to the four corners of the earth. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. For we know that our Abba, Yahuwah, is at this moment waving his hand a second time to recover the house of Israel. And so we give him praise, honor, and glory. We are continuing our short series of messages concerning the truth surrounding the birth of our King. We're also taking out time to expose the lies and the fairy tales and the mythology that have surrounded the birth of our King. We're going to get rid of all that garbage and perversion and throw it in the trash. And then we're going to hold tight to that which is true, Zion. And once again, I stand to defend our holy manuscript and to defend the writings of Lucas, who was one of our kinfolk. Do not let the heathen tell it. Luke was a Hebrew Israelite. He was a doctor. And yeah, I know people want to try to attack his writings. Let me tell you something. You start attacking Luke's writings, you're going to have to throw the whole New Testament in the trash. Then after you throw the New Testament, you're going to have to throw Isaiah in the trash, Jeremiah in the trash. You're going to have to throw the Torah in the trash. You're going to have to throw Micah in the trash. You're going to have to throw Joel in the trash. Because all of the books that you hold dear to your soul, Zion, when you look at Luke's writing throughout the Bible, Luke put pen to paper according to his own testimony and eyewitnesses having a perfect understanding of those things which took place. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And let me tell y'all something. I will take the writings of Luke over any heathen alive today breathing oxygen. Let me get a drink of water on that one myself. I said any heathen. I'll take Luke's writing over any so-called Israelite that's supposed to be woke right now, talking about they don't agree with Luke. That's your problem. I read it and compared his writings to the writings of the rest of the Holy Manuscript. And it does compare 100%. But you have to do, Zion. You have to become a student of the Word. You have to become dedicated to understanding. In all you're getting, get you understanding, Zion. And in these last days, there's no excuse when you're told to study to show yourself approved. And so we're going to be looking at Luke's account of the birth of our King. And as we really examine his detailed account, we get a chance to get rid of a whole lot of this garbage that has been put into the manuscript, that have been put into our minds that's not in our manuscript. Some of these things we've been hearing so long, we automatically assume it must be in the writings, and it's not. So it is my privilege to address once again the honorable 12 tribes of Israel, the apple of Abba's eye, the very sheep of his pasture, his chosen people, you, Zion, the 12 tribes of Israel. Let's continue our study about the birth of our King. All right, when we look in Luke chapter 2, and remember, primarily we're going to be looking at Luke's account. He tells us in verse 6, and while they were, and it was so, in other words, it happened like this, that while they were there, while, get that in your mind, they were there. It didn't say as soon as they arrived. It didn't say as soon as they got there. No, while they were there, they were already there. They were already in the house. They were already most likely with Joseph's relatives. I spent time to show you that Joseph was not just some ordinary cat. No, man. He was honored and respected because we read his lineage goes all the way back to King David. All right. So very, very important that we establish that. Got to get that picture out of your head that he was, searching around in a strange land he had never been to. No, this is his homeland. Got to get the picture out of your head of some weird like manger out in the middle of nowhere where there was just a bunch of animals and stinking feces and all that all around him. It's not the picture either, Zion. And I want to prove it today that it says, and while they were there, I want to prove the fact that the pivotal word here that allows the heathen to misrepresent is this word in. And I told you this on yesterday, that the end that I'm in, the inn, I-N-N, that they were staying is not an inn like a hotel or an inn or a motel. That's not the picture when it says no room in the inn. The literal word is guest room. There was no room in the guest room. The guest room was too small. The reason that we find that Miriam is not born in the guest room is because the guest room is too small. So I told you yesterday I was going to try to find a picture. And of course, this is a rendition. It's a rendition. I want you to see it. This goes against all of that stuff you've been shown with these pictures of little mangers and just a little lean-to with a couple of sheep nibbling at the straw that's hanging outside of the manger, and white Jesus is laying in there, man, with little toes curled up, and you got a little white Mary and white Joseph and white this and white that and white angels, and oh boy, you heathens gonna pay. Y'all know you gonna pay. This is the way we live, Zion. We had houses. Now, this is a rendering. This is not an actual house, but these heathens done went to our homeland and dug up our houses. They know exactly how we lived. And notice, even though they know exactly how we live, they have never gone back to correct the lies that are told to us in these fairy tale Hollywood movies and stuff. You never hear it. You never hear it coming out the Christian church. You never hear it coming out Islam. You never hear it coming out of Judaism. And it is just now being exposed through the Hebrew Israelites, because Moriyoshi Yahoo is not afraid to send this message worldwide. They got you believing you running around here swinging in trees and little grass huts. When we were in our Holy Land, we were living in 3 and 4 story buildings. So let me situate this chair over a little bit. I want to show y'all something. So what are we looking at here? This is a cutout. So this is what they call a cutaway. This right here. You see it? So in your mind, they're expecting you to know that this wall went all the way up here. Okay? This wall right here went all the way to the top. This wall right here comes all the way across the front. Okay, so understand that This is just not showing like this is the way the floor was. This is just like a picture of how the floor. But you see these black, these cutaways mean that this floor right here would go all the way across to here. This wall right here would go all the way across. This room right here would go all the way across. So then you have the picture of this ancient house. Now look, there's several pictures. I just tried to find one that was the most clear for the video. And of course, as I told you, there's a lower floor. Then there's the floor where people stayed. Then there's rooms for storage and all that. There's other ones that will show how they actually heated the house with certain furnaces and things. Then you had either the roof here, and there's a in the Bible it talks about it's better to dwell in the corner of a rooftop than dwell in the house with a cantankerous woman, right? So the idea of this rooftop, right? We didn't know this back then, but the rooftop was an actual room. It was not something that was like random. Solomon was not just talking when he said that, like, oh man, you just go up there and just sit on top of the edge of a roof. No, the rooftop is an actual place that it was used as another room. Remember, these walls would have gone all the way up, right? And created a top. So what would happen as the family expanded, sometimes they would then build what's called another roof on top of this one. And then this would become an inside room. So the question is about this inn then. So they would say, well, more, so where is the inn? In this type of a room, when Joseph and Miriam got here, no doubt they were greeted. Remember, once you go inside here, this is all walled. They were greeted and then led and take these little weak ladders out, because in reality, there was probably a stone pathway. In other pictures, they had it pretty plain, where there was brick or stone stairways to every level. So you had a stone stairway here, you had a stone stairway that went to the second one, and another stone. And then sometimes around the back of the house, like if it was a 3-story house, they would just have one long stairway that started down here, and it would go all the way up around the outside of the house to the very top of the house. Okay? So what would happen in the homes is, remember, this wall goes all the way across. Now, it's not just from now, we see it right here, but it goes all the way across the house. When people would come over, they would have living quarters, and they would most likely stay on this level right here. Then you had doors and passages to, like, where you see these, they put here like little storage containers, but this could also be used if they wanted to for a makeshift room or whatever. But then you would have on this floor, let's just say that this was instead of this being like 1, 2, let's say there was 3 and this was a third one. What they would do is that they would then divide these into little small sections. And this little bitty small section that they would cut this off, they would call that the inn or the guest room. And so a person would come, they visit, hey, how y'all doing? Fine, fine, fine. They go inside the actual house. Remember, this wall there would be another whole floor right here that covers up all this stuff. And they would chill out right here, and they would talk or whatever. And then, of course, the people that when they got ready to retire for the night would go into the rooms, wherever the bedrooms were. And then if they happened to live in a place that had a guest room, it would most likely be on the next floor, and it would just be a very small a room that could fit maybe like one bed inside that room. And that would then give a person, the guest would then have privacy from all the activity that's going on inside the house and on top of the roof or down below. Don't sound like no hut, does it? Don't look like no little barn or little stable that you're going to see all over the world. You're going to see this picture of this weird looking. This is what you're going to see. Let me show y'all what you're going to see. In just a few days, Zion, y'all finna see this picture everywhere. And it's so sad that they put, it's so sad, right? That they pushed this on you and got you believing these. Let's see if I can get that in the screen. So you got people all over the world. When you think of the birth of Hamashiach, you thinking of this, or you thinking of this. It's not what happened. And I see that in this introduction, my time, the video is almost over. Oh my goodness gracious. Look at what these heathens, boy. You Europeans, you in trouble for that. Boy, did y'all see that? How's that Africa? That's not Africa at all, is it? It's not East Africa. I've been to East Africa. Ain't nobody looking like that East Africa. I've also been to Rome and Italy and England. And there, yeah, you find everybody looking like that. You don't find this in East Africa. I gave you the picture just now of what was in Africa. I showed you the pictures of our architecture. Showed you the picture of what it really looked like. And I had to explain the ancient house because now on the very next video, I'm going to explain to you exactly what happened when, of course, Miriam's water broke and she had to actually deliver our king, her firstborn son. I'm going to show you that in the very next video. I pray that this was informative and nothing I showed you today is impossible for you to get. Simple second grade Google search, second grade research. It'll pull up the stuff that they're not teaching you, Zion, in order, watch this, in order to keep you ignorant about you. Because if you ever wake up to your true identity, who you are and whose you are, no longer will you be able to be held in captivity, slavery, or anything else. We are royalty. We are the apple of his eye. We are the 12 tribes that have been scattered worldwide, and we are going to be gathered very soon by our King. Hallelujah. I got to go. Boy, those are the quickest 17 minutes I've ever spent with y'all. So total reminder for your love. And don't forget, before you exit the video, send some type of support this way if you feel that this is being informative and beneficial to you. And if you continue to support us, well, regardless, we're going to do our best to support you so you can be strong, especially during these times when all these lies are being told about our King. All right, Zion, I'll be back with the next video and we'll go forward. One love. Shalom.